All right, welcome everyone. It is time to get this show on the road. I am Sprawl. I said that funny, but indeed I am Sprawl, joined with nobody this time around. Again, this is my solo kind of demo review show. So if you guys have witnessed my, what do I do usually? I'm a caster, so usually a play-by-play. This is something that's new for me. So I'm trying to get into the analysis world a little bit, and I'm hoping you guys can join me. So I'm doing some of these demo reviews. Right now I'm just doing one per week. So I did Optic versus Tempo Storm last Friday. It was horrific quality, and I don't even want you to go back and watch it, quite honestly. But this one, I think it's going to be a little bit better. So hopefully that is the case. Today we're doing Liquid versus Luminosity, and this is on Nuke. So to follow up from the theme of last week, that's kind of the idea. I want to do more Nuke. So just because I feel like all the other maps, they've been touched on more or less a bunch, Nuke is still new to the competitive scene. So anyhow, I want to give you guys a bit of an update on where the meta is at there. So first and foremost, I do want to let you guys know I'm highlighting more T-side than CT side, just because T-side has always been the very difficult part of Nuke. I feel like there's a lot of viable places to play as a CT side. That being said, we are going to talk about little changes that the teams make on the CT side. But I just want to let you guys know it's going to be more of a T-sided affair. So that is that first and foremost. And again, this is top-level play. Luminosity, best team in the world at the moment. So I'm trying to catch every little detail, but I might miss some stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoy. We're going to go through the entire match, just round for round. If you have any questions, please save them to the very end. If you guys notice anything while I'm in the midst of analyzing that seems to be very important, let me know. I do have chat up, but because I'm putting this on YouTube, I'm going to not ignore chat, but you know what I mean. I want to make it seem like it's meant for YouTube, more or less. So anyhow, but we're doing it live on Twitch. Let's get into this, shall we? Enough of me babbling on and on and on. So, moving right into it. Again, this is map number 2. This was for E-League. Just week 1. They faced off on Mirage. I think it was like 16-6. Luminosity did very, very well. And then they moved into this one as their second map. So, there was a knife round. I skipped it because although nuke knife rounds are pretty important, I'm just skipping it. I'm not going to analyze no knife rounds. So let's get right into the pistol round. Liquid, they won knife round, so they start on the CT side, I believe. Yeah, we're going to see them switch in a moment here. So let's just go ahead and resume. And actually, I'm going to skip forward around, of course. All right, cool. Nice. My mouse is actually... No, it's... So it's weird when I play when I do these demo reviews in windowed full screen. If I move if I click on one of these, I lose my mouse. It's really annoying. Then you have to like move your mouse off screen, bring it back. Anyhow, if anybody knows the fix for that, please let me know. That being said, we are moving into the pistol round. So again, Luminosity, they start on the T side. And right from the get-go, I'll let you guys know that it is a pretty cool strategy. We don't get to see all of it develop because it kind of falls apart early. But I'd like to see the strategy actually work out. So right from the get-go, you'll see Fallen. He's got a flash and a smoke. The idea, before we even see this round get into things, I think that they are waiting for, again, because this was not televised, but... it was broadcast in a way that they've got advertisements, so I think they had an advertisement here. So anyhow, moving into the pistol round, finally. I didn't note that that actually happened when I watched the demo earlier, so... Moving into things, we will see the strategy unfold. So again, Fallen, he's got the utility here, and the idea is they're going to put a lot of pressure towards ramp, and I believe they would split into B. That's the idea. So Fallen is going to come over here, he drops a cheeky smoke, and he's going to try and flash out. Somehow Nitro kills him in the process. Again, he flashes in a way that should guarantee his way into the vents, but it doesn't happen. So Luminosity, they take in a ramp room, and this is where I feel like the audible was called. They get control of ramp, but they decide to fall back into lobby. So Hiko kills Cold before any of these guys show up, and I probably should have been on the point of view of Hiko there, but ridiculous frags as he basically just headshot after headshot, they come out of the hut. So the idea there, I'm honestly going to, there's not a lot to say for Phoenix. Phoenix finds 2 frags here eventually, but eventually he goes down. And quite honestly, his movement around the map, he tries to get up towards CT Heaven, and he kind of falls around. And you can see that they're still new to this map, which is understandable. But again, interesting pistol round. So the idea is if Fallen actually made it into the vents, I imagine those guys further commit, and then they pinch into B. And that's actually a strategy that you would see in the old Nuke on, like, eco rounds. You just smoke vents and you just try and pile members down. But, again, we'll see those 2 frags come out from Phoenix. Nothing too crazy going on there, and as much as I love Phoenix, we're actually skipping the rest of this round. So, we will see. Bit of a pause coming in. Peacemaker was actually dropped out of the round midway through there. I'm not really sure what happened, but anyhow, moving forward, we go into a force buy, and I'm going to show you guys something super sick. Fallen finds a pretty nutty outside pick here, and this is actually a super dangerous round that Liquid somehow pulled together. I'm going to show you in a moment here why it was so crazy. So the initial idea is one of the advantages that I feel like you get on the T side of this map is that outside is much more viable than it used to be. Just because you can jump on a Twinkie is that much easier, you can wrap all the way around to CT Heaven, and again, we're going to see in a moment here what happens when you can find an opener towards outside. So watch this shot. This is just dirty, dirty business from Fallen. As he's perched up, again, he's got teammates with him. Oh my god, just every time. That is just, ridiculous. So, anyhow, that's kind of the initial awesome action in this round. As you can see, Luminosity, they're taking outside, or at least Fallen. The next place to always be worried about is Secret. So many CTs will try and rotate there midway through the round and try and catch you off guard if you're playing outside. So that's why I think we're seeing Phoenix and Fallen focus so much on that real estate. They don't have a smoke to cover it. So instead, you basically just have to keep eyes on it. So Fallen eventually is going to push his way out here. And again, with this kind of outside control, you can see Kusta, he is spotting. He puts a little bit of damage into Fur, but he falls back in a way that Fallen can make it all the way outside. And the turning point in the round is going to be in a moment here where Kusta, he makes his way back up to CT Heaven. But again, Luminosity with so much control here. Nitro is not willing to peek outside of Mini. You can see Hiko just playing inside of Inner. Dren is down in the lower bomb site just in case they came around Secret. Which again, they've had complete outside control. That's completely viable. So that nade comes in, damages Kusta. And unfortunately, Fur just can't find this shot. Kusta should be a dead man walking here, but because he survives, it allows the rest of the CTs to focus on the mini presence. Eventually, Fur finds that frag, but then he falls. So you can see, honestly, that the big part of the round right there is they recognize that Kusta's up there. Fallen literally throws an HE grenade to pepper him up, but unfortunately, the 2-on-1 doesn't go the way of Luminosity. So nice work from Liquid, in that they win the round, of course, but still, Luminosity had quite the opportunity there. Again, credit to Kusta for hitting those shots, but nice work from the LG side. So moving into the next round here, honestly, this is a round that I've noted to be a little skippable, in that I didn't exactly get a good read on what Luminosity is trying to do. They put 3 in lobby, 1 towards ramp. You can see Fallen aggressively is making it outside early. I assume that they were just going to try an A-pinch, but you can see it falls apart before they can even get to that place. So Taco eventually comes to help out. Fallen's already lit, and the round kind of falls apart from here on out, so I'm just going to skip the rest of it. Quite honestly, it doesn't result in anything crazy. 4 left up. They find a single frag on the round for Luminosity, but that's it. So moving into this rifle round, this is where things get a little bit more interesting. As again, for round 4, Luminosity, they go for an interesting A site take, but they actually fake outside first, and I'll explain how they do that here in a moment. So one of the things that when I watched Tempo Storm versus Optic, they never did, honestly, the meta wasn't there for them just yet, in that they just hadn't practiced it. You want to jump up here and you want to be popping these windows. Anders made a really good video about Nuke, in that there's a lot of smokes, again, you can hit after you break the windows, make things more consistent for yourself, and you can smoke into heaven and all that kind of fun stuff. So the idea here is we're going to see the smoke outside fake. So they smoke catwalk and they smoke towards mini. But you can see no one is really committed to this. They throw the smokes and they're already back into lobby. Fallen, he throws that smoke towards heaven, and then he's going to Molotov on top of the hut, as well as this mini smoke coming out. So their Molotov actually is botched. You'll see another round later where Fallen tries the same Molotov, and it doesn't work. So I imagine moving forward, that'll be something that they tighten up. Hiko actually got a frag from that position, and he probably shouldn't have. He should have had to be fleeing off of that location, but as we move forward here, this does turn into a retake scenario. Dren trying to make it in from the lobby area. But you can see he falls, and Elige will fall next. So this is the first rifle round pickup for the T side, and you can see the CT side economy. They've survived with enough that they've got an alright economy, but not exactly comfortable. So moving into this next round, round 5, we will see Hiko on a CZ75 and Kusta on a P250. So because of this, we're going to see Liquid get very aggressive, which I don't mind, but I feel like against a team like Luminosity, for this to work, I feel like this is a strat that has merit to it. It's the lobby crunch, more or less. So you're going to see 3 players come in from radio. They're going to flash in through lobby, or through hut, rather, and they're just going to try and bully their way in. So they take out Taco immediately, which is fine. Like, that's honestly excellent, but Cold actually finds a nice position from up above that he can find players moving into that lobby area. And then you'll see Nitro goes down kind of after the push is not done, but you can see his teammates are nowhere to be found. So it kind of falls apart. Again, the start of it looked all right, but one of the things to note while we have a lull in the action here is one of the best ways we're going to see, Luminosity actually holds this way in some future rounds, but the best spot to be watching Hut, in my eyes, is this spot right here. You can peek down and essentially have an angle right for when they step foot out of Hut. So keep that in mind for your matchmaking ideas moving forward. But again, round 5 here. I think Hiko ends up getting 2 before dying. So that's a little exciting, but quite honestly, nothing really that needs to be highlighted. Elige whiffs this spray pretty hard, and he does fall because of it. And then, again, Hiko tries to save. And I think he actually gets caught on the ladder here. So it's kind of awkward. Watch, he tries to walk over it. Yeah, that awkward moment when. Anyhow, he's going to attempt to save. He eventually takes down 2 more players. Again, very exciting stuff, but we're going to skip it. So moving forward, round 6 here. This is an eco for the CT side. So, of course, you never want to be in an eco scenario for the CT side of Nuke. Like, it's kind of like Train, where if you're ever ecoing, like, it feels really awful because you're giving up critical rounds that might just be enough. That one round could make a difference, right? So I actually got very excited while I was watching the demo here. I haven't seen a Bison bot in so long, so thank Taco for doing that. As we'll see, I think they go for another outside play here. Just looking over. Yeah, so they take outside control. Cold is going to find a frag early. Oh, yeah, Cold actually kills himself here, I think. Maybe. No, it's not this round. It is this round. It's totally this round. No, Cold! No! Anyhow, I thought that was hilarious. He just falls off of, I don't even know what he's going for. I think he was just trying to, like, move slightly over to spam a little. I don't really know, but anyhow, funny stuff. It does not result in any madness. We'll see Elige fall to Taco next. Missed that frag, but anyhow, that's not what this is about, really. I'm not too worried about getting the point of views. It's more talking about the positioning. So, Phoenix finds Nitro in the end, and a decent anti-eco. 2 players fall, but 1 killed himself, and, well, it is what it is. So, moving forward, round 7. This is going to be a bye round for both teams. And Fallen actually breaks the upper, like the windows for an upper take. So this is something that, again, if you are on the T side, you want to be putting this into play, even if you're not going for an upper take, just to provide. Obviously, it's super telegraphed if you're only breaking these windows when you're actually doing an A-side take. So I believe this is a round where we see Fallen. He'll break them, but they work for an outside take here. So smoke's up from the CT side already. And one thing that I haven't really highlighted too much is the outside play here for Liquid. They do not play heavy outside very much at all. They will send Elige outside, and he's played a very... he plays a lot of different angles, but hold that thought. We've got the carpet bomb here. This is what I wanted to highlight. 2 smokes. They've got a Molotov towards Secret and 1 towards Red Box. So they really flush out everything. They try to split into the bomb site here, and you can see Cold's coming out from Hut as soon as they make it in from Mini, but... I do believe this is a Liquid pickup. Cold ends up coming up and finding that frag. He does follow it up. So they create a 2-on-1. See, Fallen goes down. Right, so this is a 1v2 from Cold. He drops to the lower bomb site. And this is a round where although Liquid are going to end up winning this, it is as expensive as possible. Quite literally as expensive as possible. So moving forward, again, the tale of this match, more or less, is the economic play. We'll see in the next half how Luminosity, they're able to keep so many players alive and really keep a bank growing to the point where when they do lose some rounds, they can just continuously buy to keep the pressure on. So this is where we'll see, again, the 1v1 created. Adrendus tries to stick the bomb, and he does get it. So he finds the defuse. Although that's a little frustrating for Luminosity, you can see that the economy is actually really busted up for the CT side. Luckily, Hiko's got like 7k, but otherwise, everybody is super low. And utility is very important on this map. Incendiaries, smokes, all the kind of counter nades. Otherwise, you can't really hold against rushes. Just you can, obviously, there's favorable angles to take to hold against rushes and such, but if you have Molotovs, if you have smokes, it just makes things so much easier on that CT front. So moving into round 8, again, you're going to see very limited utility, no kit at all, and of course that we're actually going to see Elige switch up positions in this round. Again, he played towards the air conditioners in the last round. He plays towards Big Garage, and this is not... This is a good position, but your teammates need to play accordingly. It's kind of like giving up middle on cash on the CT side. Like, you need to adjust almost everyone to accommodate this. So Adren decides to hold lower because Elige is posted in Big Garage, and that's because, again, they get a free entry down into this real estate. So first slowly creeps around. See, his crosshair was right on Adren, but couldn't find the shot. But eventually, we're going to see Elige come alive from Big Garage, and you can see Fallen attempts to trade this, whiffs the shot, and that's kind of the beginning of the end to the round. So, yeah, again, you can see Kusta the way that he's playing here. I had it highlighted that... Right, so Kusta, the way he's playing ramp, this is what I was getting at. Eventually, what we're going to see is Fur creeps up from ramp. Adren made contact with him earlier, but Kusta is actually very wary to the fact that this could be a play coming in the flank. So Kusta, again, good positioning. He whiffs the shot, but honestly, it's a really hard shot to hit with their head just barely peeking up. So, and we'll see them try and make something out of this round, but with 15 seconds, Taco whiffs a huge spray down there. He makes it up to the top of ladder, and Kusta just flicks and kills him. That's kind of the turning point of the round for me, in that if he finds that frag, and that Hiko has to turn his focus away, maybe they can burst into this bomb site, but nice hold from Liquid. They survive with 5 players, so they finally get a bit of a bank growing for themselves. It's still not pretty, though, as you can see. Still not pretty at all. So, moving into round 9. So, we see a force buy here for the T side, which, even though they survive with 5 in the last, you could still warrant this in that you can see how much they buy in this round and how low it brings the CT side economy. They had little utility in the last round, and they obviously used it all, and now they've got to rebuy, and they buy kits, and all that kind of fun stuff is very expensive. So we're going to see another smoke strat here onto the A-bomb site, I do believe. So Fallen is going to be hitting all the windows. And again, they're setting up for the take here. We've got one smoke that goes outside. Again, Taco's going to be throwing that one here, and Fur's going to follow it up. So the wall of smokes towards the Big Garage, but again, that is our ruse as they're trying to get this working. So Fallen drops his smoke inside of Heaven. They've got the mini smoke coming out as well. They botched the Molotov again. Luckily, this time around, Hiko is not on that spot, but he does come up with one. You see the trades back and forth. They create a 3-on-3, and this is where this nade is just ridiculous. Watch this. Oh my god. Fur had so little hit points. And sometimes we see, like, grenades that do absolutely nothing. That one, obviously, well, he was very lit, so it is what it is. Cold gets a little aggressive here, and, well, quite honestly, Taco was with him, so it wasn't too bad, but eventually Taco finds himself alone, and Liquid win this retake. They only keep 2 alive, so their economy is still kept in check. And to be fair, if you can find that kind of success on a force buy, it does keep things very close. So, again, the one thing that you'll note in this half is that Luminosity have been able to get, well, to be fair, they haven't got massive amounts of bomb plants, but they start to do so here. And they keep the economy, the CT side, as low as possible at all times. So even on those eco rounds, I think this was the only eco that we saw that was kind of a little disjointed in my eyes, but I think that they had a plan. I just wasn't able to recognize it. But moving forward, we will see a light buy in round 10. And Liege actually does a good job. Again, they play pretty much solo outside. And it's a stark difference to the Luminosity CT side. They put Cold outside with the AWP, and a lot of teams will dedicate their op to outside or ramp. Obviously, those are the two main pieces of real estate. And that's where Kusta... Actually, Kusta's not playing there this round. He actually was helping outside, but he smoked off. So it's a Liege to get 2 frags early. And again, it's not a bad look here, as we'll see Luminosity take outside. And I do believe that Phoenix, in the end, makes this a little bit expensive at the very least. And you can see that if they kept 4 alive here, that would have been great. And if you're Liquid, it's almost like that is the game plan, is to keep people alive. Because quite honestly, you can't afford to lose anybody else. But see Phoenix and Fallen here in a moment do a decent job of just salvaging a little bit more damage in the round. So again, Hiko is well known to be playing with his auto shotgun. I don't like that he was that far away, to be fair. The only angles that he's going to have coming his direction are more than likely those 3 when he's standing here, and that auto shotgun is awful at all of those. So I'm not certain what was going on there, but gives up that kill, and now Phoenix, he finds 1 more before going down. And it's actually pretty huge because it's an auto shotgun frag. So $900. Can't go wrong with that, right? So he will be able to find that, but that is the extent of his success. And again, you can see how important it is that that damage is dealt. Liquid win the round, but surviving with 2 on a round where it was light buy, that's mission accomplished for Luminosity. And again, you got Phoenix getting an extra $900 with a shotgun. Can't go wrong with that. So round 11, we'll see a double op setup here for the Luminosity side. And this is the first round where Kusta is like dedicated outside, and that he's playing much more. I think he plays in Big Garage specifically, so we'll see how this takes place. He actually finds a really nice pick on a Fallen early here. And one of the things that I'm noticing like they like to do with Kusta is they don't like leaving him in one position, so immediately upon finding this frag, I believe he switches to ramp. Yeah, so or maybe I'm wrong. I think Cold's there. Okay, yeah, so this is what happens. Cold actually legs him through the scaffolding there. And then Kusta's like, nah, I'm done. I'm out of here. Liege decides to switch up and play Secret to take his position, which is fine, but Cold, as you can see, all over it. And this is the beginning of the end of the round for Liquid, in that they found that opener, but they can't keep a hold of that player advantage. We'll see again how the rest of the round pans out. Taco is going to be pushing into ramp room with his teammates. And I believe that Nitro in the end makes this a 1v1. Again, we see some action. Fur goes nuts towards ramp here. And again, considering Liquid had the advantage in this round, really hard for them to keep their heads in the game. Of course, they're up at this point, but again, this is one of the critical rounds that they will not pick up. Nitro is trying to clear everything he can. Hiko does have a kit, but he's got no hit points, so makes this very difficult, as you can see. And there's actually a point here where Nitro, I feel like this nade he's about to throw, if it hits Phoenix right on, that should have done enough that Nitro could probably peek and get that frag. I still don't think he wins the round, considering you got Cold Zero with an op towards ramp. But anyhow, he eventually has to fall back. And that will be Luminosity picking up another T-side round. So, again, Luminosity, they've given themselves a great chance at finding more T-side rounds after they find an initial T-side round, because they've kept that economy so low. So, we move into this next 12th round here, and this is actually a force buy again from the CT side, and this is actually a really cool round. Again, if you guys watched the theory crafting with Anders on Nuke, you would know exactly what this is from. And actually, when he was casting this, I think he was like, I think someone watched my video. But again, Fallen, sure, he could come up with it on his own, but why would you need to when you got Anders already doing some of this homework for you? So what they decided to do is they spread out initially. We got 2 towards outside, 3 towards lobby. And again, lobby is very difficult to hold if you don't have 3. You need one dedicated towards Squeaky, one to Hut, and one to the ramp push, just in case you see that kind of pinch. And on a round like this, Liquid, on a low buy, last time we saw them do something like that. So again, this is a great response for Luminosity. And again, you can see how Phoenix is playing that spot. But this is the triple boost that I was highlighting, where Anders showed in his video. So this gets you a shot right into this area here, of course. But again, if you are a CT at Heaven and you know that boost is coming, it's a pretty easy shot as well. So keep that in mind. But they don't actually find anything off of it, which it would have been cool if they did. But it is what it is. And let's see, I think Adren spots them here at ramp, and he tries to fall back. This is actually a little awkward. So he throws this, peeks, dead. And that nade should have, I think, in his eyes, given him a small advantage to peek, and there would have been that grenade creates a little bit of a visual effect, obviously, that's difficult to see through. I think he was hoping to gather some intel, but doesn't work out. Elige playing that classic spot behind the silo. I would actually like, again, one of the spots that Anders highlighted is the fact that you can play right here, and, like, you can op, like, through these little, I don't remember the exact angle, but I think it's, like, right there. Yeah, anyhow, pretty cool stuff. Of course, you need an op to be able to do that effectively, but even with that M4A1S or M4A4, you can kind of dance and make something work there. I suppose the lower ramp is, or the lower part is just as effective, but again, another round here for the Luminosity side. Because they were so low on money, we see that they have to save. So not a fun spot here for Liquid to give up another round. As again, T side, 5 rounds can definitely be enough. Especially on the old Nuke. Old Nuke, you could almost justify a win after finding Pistol and the 2 thereafter. So, yeah, obviously, again, very, very good news here for the Luminosity side. So moving into the next round, round 13. Again, they force buy around the 3 weapons that they save, and this is actually a round where Kusta gets aggressive and is actually really good. So we'll see, highlight that here. He gets aggressive towards Radio Room, and I'm wondering if this is him wanting to get aggressive off of this. Again, you can see Elige in them. They don't actually... Oh, they actually don't buy around this. How did I take that in my notes and didn't notice? Well, whatever. Doesn't make a difference. Kusta finds an opening frag, and Liquid do pick up this round, so I think that's maybe why I had noted that they had bought, but they definitely did not. So, well, looking like a noob when I've already witnessed this demo already, but that is par for the course. As we'll see, Luminosity, they take outside again. Again, Taco went down early towards that ramp area. So Kusta's on wheels a little bit. You see him switching up to the outside play. But we actually see Elige. Again, I missed that. He pushes into lobby, and he tries to get aggressive. He falls because of it. Kusta finds another frag on a fur. And again, we're missing. I'm just going to go in auto director as I'm struggling to show the action. But again, Nitro takes down Fallen, and it turns into a 2-on-4. Again, Liquid win this round basically off the back of Kusta, going nuts there, finding that early entry, and then finds Fur as well. Phoenix getting heavily tagged towards Hut, and again, the round kind of broken apart here. You got Cold outside, and Phoenix still towards Squeaky. So Liquid, they will be able to find this round, and do so. I believe they keep a decent amount alive again. Yeah, that's pretty much all the notes that I have on the round, so that's pretty much that. Phoenix eventually goes down here. And again, Liquid, they're able to get a little bit more economy out of this situation. So, yeah, I think he just goes and saves. So, Phoenix saving into the next round. Round 14, almost the end of the half. So, what we'll see here is there's actually not a lot of utility on the T side because, again, they just lost that round. They only kept 1 player saving. And again, they share the love, but they do not have a lot of utility at all. So, moving forward here, we'll actually see them fake outside, and then they work into a ramp, heavy ramp pressure, and then they go back outside. And I'm curious, again, I'd love to talk to Fallen and know if that's the initial idea here. I think it was, considering it makes little sense for me to think otherwise. So anyhow, here you go. So you see all of their smokes minus Phoenix be deployed. Phoenix decides to dump his in a way that, again, if you are Liquid, you probably think that this is a mini and a execute, but instead they send all of their members pretty much back over to ramp here. But as soon as this Molotov comes in and Kusta spots them, they decide to fall back. So, again, I'm wondering if they find that pick, do they just commit to ramp, and this fake was exactly what they were looking for? But, again, when it doesn't work out, this is what I love about Luminosity, is as a team, you'll see the complete adjustment across the board. No one is off on another tangent, more or less. So, they leave 2 in lobby here, and they're going to creep 3 outside. So, if you're Liquid, again, you just saw a fake outside. You may suspect that there could be something going on there, but just have these 3, again, work their way in this way. Pretty cool look. As they come into the A-bomb site, they've got no utility, and that's basically the tail of the tape of this round, in that, yeah, positionally speaking, they're all kind of crunching together, almost. It's a little staggered. But without any utility at all, it makes for such a rough round. So, again, I like the idea, positionally speaking. It worked out really well, but Liquid, they just mow them down as they come into that A-bomb site. And that is the difficult part about this map, is the fact that you've got players up in rafters. You can spot feet towards Mini before they can even see you. There's just so many favorable spots that you need to have utility if you're breaking into that. So, anyhow, Cold, he's going to be saving through this round, and that is going to be that. And moving into the final round of the first half. This is looking like a strat where, again, they're on a low buy. Luminosity, they want to try to get one more round on the board, and they don't go for anything that fancy. This is actually probably the most staggered take that we'll see from Luminosity. Usually they're very clear and concise in that they are pushing together, but Liquid have enough utility that they drop an Incendiary in Hut, and you're going to see how this gets split up. So Taco decides to pull a smoke. They've got 2 players out squeaky already, and the Hut players are nowhere to be found. And essentially, it's because they want to drop a smoke on that Molotov before going. And again, it's a small detail, but it's enough where you saw the squeaky door players. They had that same fire in front of them, but they just ran through. So a bit of confusion there. If one side is going to be dropping a smoke to cover themselves, the other one's probably going to do the same. Like, they need to be on the same page that way. So Luminosity usually are on the same page like that, but for that specific strat, I feel like it could have been a little bit better timed. But moving forward, that's going to be half. So 10-5, you would say that Liquid, as long as they have some stuff to show on their T-front, they could be able to close this out, but this is still a worrisome scoreline. You're kind of right at the golden standard, I feel. Even though there's not a huge standard on this map just yet, I feel like 10-5 is not a bad start. So, here we go. We do have a pause coming in, so let me see if I can actually skip through this. Okay, I wrote down that... Next pistol. Again, they got like commercial breaks and stuff, so those are kind of integrated into the demo. So I think it's 3550. Almost there. There we go. Okay, good enough. All right. So, again, to just kind of highlight, just gift wrap that last half, Luminosity was able to find, they didn't get pistol round, but once they went on their rifle rounds, they were able to keep up the pressure. They never let the economy to really be that solid, and that's why they were able to eventually find those 2 rounds in a row later in the half as well. And, again, they didn't even get too many bomb plants for their own economies, more that they were just keeping the other guys heavily damaged. So, moving into this next half, we're going to see the pistol round strat here from the T side. They try and... So they have a Molotov and a Dren. He's working the Hut Molotov right now. This looks like an A take, but I believe it actually turns into... Let me just check my notes here again. So they molly Hut, and this actually allows them to smoke close. See how that works? So they molly Hut. It allows them to smoke close really easily, and it's a perfect smoke. Hiko misses the vent. I actually didn't note that at all. That's hilarious. He missed the vent entirely. I thought he was just going to stay upper, and that was the idea. That's actually a big thing to note. Phoenix takes down Kusta next, and they try and set up on a post plant here, but Adren is still lurking up in A, as he's hoping for someone to go through the vents, but there's already players inside of the vents, and soon enough we'll see that it turns into pretty much only Nitro here, so... And again, he finds nothing. That's hilarious. Again, there's a couple things. I go through these demos before I do these reviews, and I take notes, and I make certain that I know at least the general idea of the round and the cool positioning to note. I did not note that Hiko actually legitimately missed the vent in that play. That's too funny. Anyhow, moving forward, Liquid, they are not going to pick up the T-pistol, and that's worrying, but they got the bomb plant. So that's a fantastic situation, to be honest with you. Well, a fantastic silver lining, if you will. Obviously, you want to win the pistol round, but can't always grab it. So moving into the 17th, they basically try the exact same thing where you can see the nade setup is pretty identical. They try to work into the A bomb site via, again, the same strat. You got a Molotov on a Dren. He pops out the vents here. You'll see him line it up. I guess we can highlight how he lines it up. Not that I expect you guys to be learning Molotovs from this demo overview, but that's the idea. It drops on top there. They drop a forward smoke. They try and work their way out, but it's separated enough that, yeah, just it's not happening. So, again, I don't mind the plan. I don't mind the strat, but Luminosity just all over it. They crush the round. And what I'm going to start highlighting is just like the differences here. A little bit more effective, obviously, on that second round. And moving into this first rifle round, you can see double op buy. Huge investment for Luminosity, but this is critical for their CT side setup because, like I was stating in the first half, it was kind of interesting that Kusta was playing ramp most of the time. Sometimes you'd help outside as well, but Fallen plays dedicated ramp, and then Cold plays dedicated outside. And having both those oppers be, for one, they're both amazing oppers. It's very difficult for Liquid to deal with. So, moving into this one. Let's see here. So they go for a smoke play outside. Cold doesn't get smoked off, though. Like, there's a bit of a gap in a smoke that I'm going to highlight in a moment. So let's just switch over to Cold right from the get-go here. And you'll see the presence here from Liquid. They're going to be smoking outside. But they smoke in a way that they're going into mini, but they leave a massive opening. So I'm pretty certain that the reason why that opening is there is because they only play 2 outside, so they only have 2 smokes. But I'd like to see maybe a deeper smoke. I don't know. I guess it's hard to say. But that is one of the reasons why they can't figure it out. A Dren finds a bomb plant in the end, so not a bad situation. Again, those bomb plants critical, but 5 surviving in these 2 rounds, specifically on this round where it actually is a rifle round. Luminosity don't actually mind giving up the bomb plant. They just want to keep all 5 alive. And again, they do succeed in that. Little bit of money here for the T side, but the fact that those 2 rounds after pistol have been flawless. Again, we're noting Luminosity able to keep their bankroll very, very high. So, moving into the 19th round, we will see a couple Molotovs from the CT side. They basically just cut off the Squeaky and Hut play very quickly. Again, that's the idea behind having a lot of utility on the CT side, is you can cut off those rushes early and just make it super difficult to put it, for lack of a better phrase. So we're going to see an attempted, I believe just A-bus yet again here from the T side. Kusta's got a couple flashes. So I think the idea is he actually flashes in for them, but again, they get completely wrecked in this round. So we get 1 smoke that comes out, a flash that follows, but spam towards the squeaky door is super effective, and Fur, just massive 3 frags from him, and he eventually drops and kills Kusta as well. So one of the downsides with this lane is that, yeah, that smoke covers the way that you're exiting, but if you are a decent CT in that you play the spot often, you know where that squeaky door is going to be lining up with, like, some visual points up above. So you just find, even yellow marks on the ground, to be honest with you. You can kind of line up this arrow with that arrow. As long as you're on point there, you're just spraying in that direction, and, well, you're going to find kills more than likely. So, again, it's super difficult to take onto A still as the T side. So no luck there, and you can see the economy. We've got 3 rounds in a row where all 5 are left up. That's just not acceptable for Liquid. As we'll see, Fur is going to find another spray down. They attempt yet again to go for another A-side take. And in my eyes, I'm not going to lie, this is looking a little tilty early. Hiko eventually finds 1, but I honestly, I'm looking back at my notes here. I don't think they find anything else. Right, one thing I was going to note in this round is I'm actually going to go back here. Let's go back, because I want to show you guys. Like the old Nuke talked. Exactly, yeah. It should. You know what? A double door wouldn't be a bad idea for it. Just because it's such a massive choke point, and Hut is like extremely difficult to break out through as well. So, hang tight, guys. I'm going back to the start of this round because I want to highlight something in that the monetary situation. Okay, here we go. So look at the monetary situation. Kusta has enough that he could go for an op. He could again. He would have to get a vest. He wouldn't have helmet, but still. I feel like that's worth it in my eyes when you've got a guy that's as good as he is. But instead, they decide to call for all AKs. So they call for all AKs, and they have full utility in this round. And what do? You guys do the math. One flash has been used. One Molotov has been used. Oh, no, I think that was a CT side Molotov. They smoke out. They smoke. So they used 2 smokes and like 2 flashes out of all the utility that they had in the round there. I just feel like if, especially considering how outside plays out on this map for the T side, I feel like you gotta utilize Kusta. You gotta try and get him working outside aggressively. Maybe their read is that he's not going to be able to find Cold Zero outside and they just don't have faith in him finding those picks, but I feel like that's the confidence you need to have in this guy. He's not as good with an automatic rifle. That's just what it comes down to. He's nuts with a AWP. And again, outside is the improved part of the map. I feel like the A-bomb site is still, although you've got a little bit of differences, it's still so difficult to take that I think it's almost a given that you have to work outside. So Liquid, they eventually do that here. I believe it's on this round. So this is actually a round where Fur decides to get a little aggressive. I don't mind this aggression. He kind of whiffs a little bit as he spots out Kusta. I'll see him tries to get that, but to be fair, he was fairly on point. Couldn't find the spray down. So another thing to note that I wanted to highlight earlier: a lot of teams, their start of their round, their default. I remember watching Get Right do this in the old Nuke when Nip was so dominant on it. Every round comes to Squeaky Door, spams a small hole through it, and then just waits. He just basically shimmies back and forth, looking for someone to wander past, and then he just tears their head off. So. Unfortunately, for the Liquid side, they've actually created an advantage for Phoenix in this situation. Eventually, we're going to see Kusta just wander into his crosshair, and they go from a 5-on-4 to a 4-on-4 very quickly. So this is again the start here, but as you can see, these are smokes that they start utilizing outside for Liquid, and I really like them. 2 smokes that allow you to get into secret. And, of course, they're perfect in a way that you got no gaps or anything like that. So, again, this turns into a 4-on-4. A little bit split up, as you can see, Elige is trying to come up from vents. And they're going to try and bust out Squeaky and Hut at the same time, but Taco gets traded off. Phoenix comes up with a nice play, and Elige, late to the scene, again, arrives from the vents but goes down. So, staggered take, and Liquid do take the pause here. So, this is where they kind of stop and talk about things a little bit. Again, we do see some more success for Liquid before this match comes to a close, and I think it's due to this pause and how they decide to move forward. But what timing does this pause end again? Let's see here. Round 22, 46:15. So let's see if I can skip forward. All right, pretty much. That's basically what we're looking for. All right, moving into this next one. I'm going to actually turn the volume up a little bit. You know what? That was too loud. Okay, so moving into the 22nd round, this is a light buy. One thing to note, you can see a huge economy for the CT side. If we just look back at these rounds, incredible stuff. Yeah, we've got some bomb plants, which is nice for the T side, but if you're not damaging the CT side economy, you need a mixture of both, quite honestly. You need a mixture of bomb plants and economic damage to the opposite side. Otherwise, it's just not going to work out. So, in this round, we'll see the Wall of Smokes. This is actually a super sick eco strat, which honestly used to be utilized all the time back on the old Nuke as well. You get 2 smokes down and allows you to cross to secret. This is where the sad part ensues, though. Phoenix spots them and falls back into the vents, and he just ruins their day completely. And Liquid, they're kind of going one by one, as you can see. And, well, Phoenix, he is quite alright with that being the case. Dren falls as well. Kusta eventually tries to make it in and go for the bomb plant. And Fallen spoils his day. Hiko falls, and Phoenix finds the last one. So, sick round for Phoenix. And this is the buy round where Liquid, they find a little bit more success. So, this is what they use the pause for, more or less. So, I do believe, yeah, so this is where they utilize that same outside set of smokes to get to secret, and they're able to isolate a player that's actually defending from that real estate. So Hiko's actually going to do what I was mentioning in a previous round where you start off the round. This is, again, after I watch Get Right do this, I'm like, okay, if I ever play Nuke, this is what I'm going to do every single round. So you come to lobby, and you do this. So generally, you actually want to keep that hole on the smaller side. Obviously, you can see more once it's larger, but you can see Hiko's actually practicing his spray through that. I actually didn't note that he was doing that, but cool stuff. And again, you can sometimes find a nice frag. I remember you used to be able to try and like creep up here and like try and like peek that way, but again, you got to notice that your barrel sometimes sticks out and all that kind of fun stuff. Nonetheless, moving forward, this is where the action ensues. Taco is playing secret, and they smoke for him. So this is their defense to it. But Taco, he gets annihilated immediately. So again, running on stairs, it's difficult to stutter step on stairs because the accuracy is even worse than just being on a flat land. It's kind of like you're on a ladder, is my understanding. So not a fun spot. Fallen does find one, but he actually gets aggressive into ramp. And this is kind of where the round falls apart as he goes down, and then it's basically Phoenix and Fur trying to keep this round alive. But considering Phoenix has so low hit points, it's just not a fun situation. And with 30 seconds left, you can see Fur actually gets killed via Elige spots his barrel as he comes out here. So, again, not a fun spot to be in. And then Phoenix forced to come out of the vents, 2 hit points, and a Molotov drops. So, Liquid, they find success in that round, which is, again, it's good, but at the same time, they took out Taco, who was aggressive on Secret, and they took down Fallen, who got aggressive on Ramp Room. So kind of some mixed aggression that failed from Luminosity, and Liquid took advantage. But the problem is that you can't always expect that kind of play to kind of fall into your lap. So moving into the 24th round, again, we actually see LG go for some ramp aggression here. Again, Fallen tried it in the last round. He found 1 frag. They try and perform it again here. Taco falls without very much, and, well, Fallen goes down with him. So you can see another round here for Liquid, as very early Luminosity go for a bit of an aggressive gambit, and I don't blame them for doing so. Again, they still have money to buy, even if it doesn't work. Yeah, you're giving Liquid a chance to get back into the match in theory, but still, I feel like that kind of calculated aggression on any CT side, you can't just play on bomb sites. Like, you need to mix things up, and that's why, again, there was a round earlier where Fur got aggressive in a hut. I didn't mind that play because a lot of times you can catch the T side off when they've seen one look for the entire half, and then all of a sudden you just get in their face in one round. So you're like, okay, that was difficult. So, anyhow, Fur in a 1v3. I'm trying to remember if he gets anything else done here. I don't think so, to be honest with you. Let me just forward this up a little bit. Yeah, eventually. Oh, yeah, and he just goes down to Hiko here in a moment, so this is basically it. Yeah, that's the round. So Liquid, this is kind of the end of their success, to be honest with you. Spoiler alert, Luminosity does win the map. But, again, you can see how those 2 rounds for Liquid, as much as, yeah, they won the rounds, Luminosity is making plays that kind of puts them into a position where they're more vulnerable than they have been in previous rounds. So I feel like that mixed aggression, again, I'm not being critical and saying that they shouldn't have done it, because I feel like it can work out really, really well if you catch them off guard and you've had a lot of success doing other things, and it's like, well, why would they change things, right? But anyhow, moving forward, we will see Taco decides to head down to lower. I think he ends up going towards Squeaky. Fallen, again, picking towards ramp here, and they go for the smokes for Secret again. And what we'll see here is Cold actually has shifted his position. He recognizes that they go for this wall of smoke outside. And although he does not find any frags here, what he can do is, so he nades, which is not effective, and I guess in theory they could have crossed already, but this is a nice angle to cover that, like, basically the angle that they need to cross before actually going to secret. So if they didn't go right away, he's got an excellent chance to take them down, and in a moment here he actually spots them. He misses the shot. Looked like it was on, to be honest with you, but that's a ton of information in itself. He calls that they're running into mini, and that basically says to Luminosity they're crunching into A. So in the midst of it, of course, they basically find all the frags for themselves. They've got a good defense on that bomb site. And again, the fact that Cold misses that shot, although he doesn't find the frag, that's a lot of information to see two players booking it towards mini, and Luminosity is able to perform the hold. So again, no real aggression there from Luminosity, and you can see how it works out. Liquid, they can't do anything in the round. Previously, it was a little bit of aggression that did find them success. So moving forward, 26th round, you'll see still enough money on the Liquid side. They survive with 3 in each, so that allows them to buy again here. But minimal utility, and you can see Luminosity still with great utility. Incendiaries on every single player, so super sick in that regard. And I believe that they start the round off. It's a good trade towards ramp here. I think it's... Let's see how this goes down. I'm drawing a blank here on my notes. I kind of forget how this one goes down, to be honest with you. We'll see how it pans out. I've got that they trade towards ramp to start. Okay, yeah, this turns into a really slow round, is what I've noted. So Liquid, they're working outside as well as hoping that there's some players getting aggressive towards ramp. Fallen, you can see goes down, but Adren, he will stick around here, and I think this is where he gets the trade. Okay, here it is. So Fallen goes for a cheeky flash play. So sick. Okay, so I wish that there was really good, let's see, can I go back a little bit here? 54. Let's see how much that does. I hope I didn't go back too far. Oh, I love how this game just lags when you're trying to buffer backwards or do anything that it doesn't want to do. Please, Valve, fix your goddamn demos. This is ridiculous. Like, I remember there was a time in StarCraft 2 when I was really into that, and you had to allow the entire replay to buffer before... Oh, God, I went way too far back. This is ridiculous. All right, whatever. We're just going to witness an entire round again. That's ridiculous. Anyhow, what a skip. And then Blizzard's like, oh, people want to watch demos because it's good for competitive use. Let's fix the UI and make it so you have everything at your disposal. And I just feel like Valve has done absolutely nothing for this demo system. It's awful, quite honestly. So, shots fired. Okay, so what I wanted to highlight, though, is Fallen is so tricky. So, and he actually asks Adren at the end of the round if he got flashed, because he's designed this, essentially. Well, I can't say he's designed it, but... it's a very creative play that I assume he probably came up with it himself. I can't say for certain, but so he does get picked here. Or sorry, what am I saying? He doesn't get picked. He finds Kusta first. So watch this. Incendiary, this flash is meant to allow him to peek again. So he posts up. Watch how this flash... So he flashes, hoping that goes off right before his peek. And again, he'll ask at the end of the round. He's like, Adren, were you blind? And Adren says no. And I assume that he's being honest, like he says no because he shot right before he got blind. So anyhow, that's little small detail, but really cool to note just how Fallen plays in that situation. And in reality, if he peeks a second later, he either finds the frag because Adren's fully white, or Adren has falled back and he gets to post up on the favorable angle. So cool stuff. But we will see Liquid eventually taking down towards Secret. And the problem here is that they've only got 15 seconds remaining. So you would think, you're like, okay, 4-on-4, they've been allowed into the B-bomb site. Maybe they can make this work. But again, with 15 seconds, Taco's got just an incredible position here. He finds 3 frags. And again, one being the bomb planter right there. Elige picks it up, but he's got less than the time required. So round goes to Luminosity. Liquid, again, they don't look so bad, but it takes too long for them to get down to secret and to actually basically hit that B-bomb site. So you'll see blinded Ren wondering what's going on. Again, cool way to play ramp there. As we are getting to the very end of this. Round 27. So we get a light buy here from Liquid. But this is basically a sick play from Phoenix. What we're going to see is Luminosity with their kind of game plans and their strategies. They've finally adapted to the fact that Liquid throw these secret smokes over and over and over. Well, they didn't do it early in the half, but ever since we've seen them get a little bit of successful play out of it, they have been trying to abuse it quite often. So we're going to see it again here. And what ends up happening is, again, Fallen's going to find some fights towards ramp. They're trying to split into B, 2 via secret and 3 via ramp. But this is what happens. Phoenix spots the smokes, and he's like, all right, I'm going to find you guys. So he flanks behind them, which, again, risky play pushing through a smoke, but he has the read that this is how they've been doing this sort of play. So basically at the exact same time as we see Phoenix try and take that fight, Fallen starts coming alive, and, well, it's a beautiful play now, isn't it? Sick stuff from Fallen. God, he is so good at this game. And Phoenix as well. So, anyhow, moving into the last round here, we will see, of course, a buy from Liquid, but they've got nothing to work with. So, yeah, this round is more or less a highlight reel for coldzera. I think he finds 2 outside earlier, 1 through a smoke, ends with a 3K. It's pretty sick, so not going to say too much about this round. Again, Liquid, they try and make something work, but with Tech9's Deagle on a Dren, you can see that they're falling apart a little bit. They still, not that they don't try anything in this round, but we'll see. They go for the smoke on Catwalk and the flash early, but they decide to push before it plumes, and then actually, maybe he does spot right underneath. Oh, did he spot underneath the smoke? That's super sick if he did. Yeah, I think there's a bit of an angle there, so anyhow, coldzera ends up finding 3. Nitro falls in the end, and that is that. So, anyhow, interesting stuff. Again, Luminosity, with only 5 rounds on the T side, they're able to make it work. Their CT side was incredibly dominant, which you'd come to expect, to be honest with you. The coordination on that team is pretty stellar. I feel like Liquid probably could have made it work, though, if, for one, there's some rounds that they probably shouldn't have let go on the first half, and if you keep, I feel like the name of the game had to be Liquid getting maybe more than 10. To be fair, they only got 2 T rounds, period, so maybe that pissed around working out as well. I think what we can take from this is that, again, like, this map is pretty much, this map is pretty darn close to what it used to be, not as CT-sided, but I feel like 10-5 is still a standard half, so yeah, that's going to be that. I don't know if I have anything more to say on that. Does anybody have any questions? Any questions at all? We can open up the floor. I really feel like, though, this map is very much like Train, where if you have any... If there's any rounds where you can actually force the CTs to eco, you're in incredible shape. You're looking really, really solid. So name of the game for the CT side is, yeah, if you're winning rounds, that's great, but having auto shotguns and stuff, having stuff that build extra economy and keeping those alive, we saw Liquid try and use that, but it's... I feel like there's a balance to it. Luminosity didn't do that. Luminosity went with a double op setup on their first CT rifle round and then continued to have massive, like, big weapons, you know what I mean? Whereas Liquid decided to have Hiko a lot of the time with an auto shotgun, which, again, is a viable way to play, but when you have to win, like, you're trying to win 90% of your duels, probably even more because he can't bleed out players on the CT side, I just don't know, unless he actually finds enough frags to build up that bank, I don't know if that's actually a decent way to play it. Again, it can go both ways. If you start finding dominance, you survive with a lot of players and you have those weapons, again, you're going to be in great shape. But Luminosity don't take those chances, and because of it, they just survive with 5. And that's another way to obviously grow your economy, is you'd love to survive with 5, or if you've got SMGs, you find a lot of frags, and you might die, but like you found a lot of frags, so you kind of make up what you've lost. So, I feel like the more viable play, if you know you're a consistent team, is to get the weapons that you know you're always going to win duels with. So that's, again, the way the Luminosity went about it, and it ended up winning them the map. So anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed. Again, I'm going to be doing another one of these next week. I might try and do one before Friday. We'll see. I want to try and get these going a little bit more consistently, but I'm at least trying to stick to a schedule where it's like every Friday I'm doing one. So again, what time on Friday, I'm not sure. It's just usually in the afternoon on the west coast of North America. So anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed. Follow me on Twitch. Follow me